Chapter 34. The Mother. As Koby and Ruby approached, they saw grey creatures mobbing around something in their midst. Koby sensed a gathering of energy and dove into Ruby, knocking her sideways just as a giant burst of yellow light incinerated a large hole in the teeming horde, narrowly missing them both. Koby and Ruby stared through the gap to a wide-eyed Solomon who stood amongst the grey mob. He wore a bright, shining, golden armoured chess piece, a large sun in the middle. "Solomon!" they shouted in unison, and leapt to their feet, beginning to cut their way through to him. Ruby gathered the strength of her red edge and ploughed her way through the grey creatures, cutting and slicing them apart to reach Solomon and tackling him to the ground. "Ruby!" gasped Solomon as Koby came forward and joined them. "Koby, how did you guys get—" "First let's get rid of these guys," said Koby. "Let me—" "No, Koby, let me do it," interrupted Ruby, and she slammed the red gauntlet onto the ground, instantly erupting rocks and fire all around them in a devastating wave that incinerated the horde, leaving them alone. "How did you do that?" said Solomon. "Saw a guy do it once," said Ruby, giving a wink to Koby and making him grin. The trio were reunited inside the storm, the three primary edges upon their bodies. Koby embraced Solomon, who laughed and squeezed him tightly. "I'm so happy to see you guys," he said. Ruby stepped towards Solomon and punched him with her non-gloved hand. "Ow!" exclaimed Solomon. "What was that for? You almost zapped us with your edge. If it wasn't for Koby, all that would have been left of us is two stumps like those ones over there, or over there." Koby wheeled around and saw there were a lot of charred body parts littered around them, some still moving. "Sorry, I was just trying to keep them from getting to me." "What are you both doing here?" said Koby. "I'm saving a pilot and trying to keep away from anyone from Imperial," said Ruby. "I'm trying to solve the mystery of a Sunball athlete's death," said Solomon. Koby blinked. "Let's connect via mind link," Koby suggested. "We can share our stories quicker." Koby opened a communication for Ruby and Solomon, and between the three of them they shared all that they had experienced upon Gaia. There were gasps of surprise from each of them as they learned about what happened to each other, the highlights and lowlights of Imperial, Reinhardt, and Leanne Zaroon. Koby disconnected the share and took a moment to think about all he just learnt. "This is some game, huh?" said Koby, deciding to go first. "A cruel one," commented Solomon. "A dangerous one," seconded Ruby. "Why would Abe send people into something like this?" asked Koby. "Are his inventions all this way?" "No, this is very, very different," said Solomon. "This is unlike anything he's made before. This is—" "A little too lifelike?" suggested Ruby, making Solomon laugh. "Yeah, I don't know if he should be sharing it with anyone except us." Koby laughed, the sound making Koby's heart fill with joy. "So what do we do now?" asked Solomon. "I don't have any clues to the murder of Nana." "I need to go check on Flamber," said Ruby. "I left her and Rusty to take the pilot out of the storm." "The mother is inside the storm. She wants to talk to me," said Koby lastly. "She's here?" said Ruby. "What do you mean she's inside the storm?" said Solomon. "All come to me," said a voice in the wind. "In the storm's eye. I have your answers." Solomon and Ruby regarded Koby. "Told you," he said with a grin. "Come on, follow me." The trio moved across the grey terrain, Solomon levitating above the bog upon the power of his edge. "These things are pretty cool," said Ruby, stepping from rock to rock. "I know what you mean," said Solomon. "No wonder everyone wants them." Koby came to a stop before an intense part of the storm, where debris flew in the air and the wind could pick you off your feet if you weren't careful. "She's through this. You two ready?" asked Koby via his mind link. "So ready," answered Solomon. "Born ready," said Ruby. "Let's go then." And Koby charged into the storm, the wind seeming to intensify and the debris trying to knock him off balance. He skated over a rolling tree stump and deftly avoided rocks that were spiraling around the edge of the storm. Koby caught sight of Ruby, brandishing her edge against the debris, while using the rocks she brought out of the ground as shelter. He also saw Solomon hovering by his side, using quick blasts of the yellow edge to vaporize anything in his path as they cut through to the middle of the storm. Koby glanced forward and saw the image of Gukin rise up before him, in his hand large hammers. Koby surged forward and sent a wave towards the giant, knocking him off balance, while Ruby leapt up and collided into the side of his head with the edge. There was a mighty roar from Gukin, who collapsed onto the ground, trying to rise, only to find Solomon before him and a blast of an enormous projectile right through the center of his head. The giant's body dissolved into a surrounding mist, and a shard of light peeked through the wall of grey. The trio dove forward, diving through the grey wall and landing inside. "Would you look at that?" regarded Solomon. Above them the sky was blue. On the ground was green grass, and high above them was a yellow sun. "It's like back on Earth!" exclaimed Ruby. "Except the giant grey storm that's surrounding it," replied Solomon. "Or that," said Koby, pointing to a structure resting atop the hill in the distance. It appeared to Koby like a pyramid, except it was upside down, its size dominating the skyline. "No, you really can't miss an inverted pyramid made of—" "Is that glass?" asked Ruby. "I think it might be glass. See between the glass? There are white bits and black bits. I wonder why," said Solomon. "The mother is inside there," said Koby, feeling something powerful emanating from within it. He walked across the green grass, noticing the red, orange, purple, and indigo flowers along the way to the pyramid. Getting closer, Koby noticed the gaps between the mirrored panels seemed to shift and changed, as though like a gigantic brain firing signals back and forth. A closed black door to the inverted pyramid greeted them upon making it to the summit. The archway of the door had 9 indents with symbols upon them, whilst on the ground 9 circular panels with matching symbols were before it. "I've seen these before," said Koby, "on the tentacles of Leanne Saroon. These are the symbols of the elements." "Fire, water, wind," pointed out Solomon. "So I guess I'm here. Ruby, you're next to me. Koby, you're next to Ruby." They each stepped on their respective circular panel. Upon doing so, their edges glowed brightly, and 3 primary colors illuminated between their feet and upon the doorway. "Welcome, friends of Primary," came a voice from the pyramid. The door descended into the ground, its loud rumbling making everything shake and revealing a darkened interior. Koby and his friends made their way inside, the walls covering in strange symbols Koby had never seen before. Further inside, Koby could see floating candles reflecting the mirrored interior that seemed to bounce the light in many directions. They each slowly walked until the interior of the pyramid was revealed, making them gasp in awe. High above them, dominating the entire room, was a gigantic rainbow-leafed tree. Its leaves seemed to be glowing iridescently as though they were made of neon. The light within was spectacular to behold, reflected upon the mirrored interior. The branches of the tree moved between black, grey, and white, intertwining in some places, single shades in others. Koby saw at the base of the tree a long-haired black woman in a white dress appeared behind it. She was stunning beauty and grace, stepping gently towards them upon the air in bare feet. As she approached, Koby locked eyes with the woman and was transfixed. At the top of her iris was yellow, but as he moved clockwise, the colors darkened. The yellow became an orange, and then into a red and a purple at the bottom. As Koby moved back or upwards, the colors lightened again, the purple turning into a blue and into a green, and finally back into a yellow at the top. She touched down upon the ground. "Welcome to my home," said the mother in a flowery voice. "You have done well." Koby felt something brush against his mind. A vast universe of information seemed to be inside this woman. "What are you?" he asked. She trilled with laughter. "You already know, Koby." "Do I?" Solomon watched the show. Koby remembered the halftime show at the Sunball tournament that Solomon had shown him. "I came to save," she said happily, "and have remained since." "But the forming of Gaia," said Solomon. "That must have been—" "Don't ask my age," she said with a giggle. "You formed Gaia from the space dragons, created life, and gave the world the edges?" asked Ruby. "Naturally, my dear Ruby, not all at once. I took my time." The mother turned back to Koby. "Where is your spacesuit?" Koby felt his face grow hot with embarrassment. "I think it's still on Leanne Saroon." She laughed. "It matters not, Koby. You will return there. Despite what Ella says, your suit is important. It was your father's." Koby felt struck. "My father was an astronaut?" "He still is one. He still lives, Koby, as does your mother." "What?" "They came through it," she explained. "The wormhole like you, along with the others. Close your eyes, please. Let me show you." Koby did so, and he saw images appear in his mind. Images of 9 different colors descended down onto Gaia. The colors moved to the different parts of Gaia, all but the north and the south. Koby watched as the colors spread out all across Gaia. The image changed to a dancing image of blue and red figures upon a yellow ground. Each of the colors whirled around each other and then mixed together to create a small child with brown hair. The edges of each of the 3 colors appeared and were put onto the child. Suddenly, the edges were pulled away and the image of the child turned back into red, yellow, and blue and were held in place as though they could not rejoin. "The union was forbidden, so they came to me," said the mother. Why make someone of all three primary colors? Asked Solomon. Let me show you. Two edges appeared, one white and one black, in Koby's mind. They both seemed to radiate a powerful energy. An image of Gaia appeared, the white edge disappeared into the white mountains in the north, and the black edge went to the canyons in the south. Koby watched as the black and white figures attempt to get to the north and south repeatedly, but were pushed back by a barrier, until finally they broke through and the whole image morphed into a swirling multicolored wormhole. Our worlds are connected. The visitors bridged it, said the mother. The wormhole split apart and turned into images of dozens of black and white figures pouring out of the north and south of Gaia. The figures marched across Gaia and herded all the mixed colors back into different areas of the continent, no longer a mix. Black is chaos, white is order. Koby saw as both halves of Gaia were covered in black and white. From each of the halves, large dragon shapes swirled around inside them, humongous and foreboding. Slowly, from the middle of the continent, the three primary colors appeared. You were our hope, said the mother. The images of the dragon converged in the middle of Gaia. A grey swirling cloud formed in the middle that grew in size. It pushed back the black and white shades to the furthest parts of Gaia and held them there. A pyramid of black and white appeared in the middle of the swirling grey storm. Koby saw as two beams of black and white lifted off Gaia up into space and through the swirling wormhole. I sent them back to Earth, minds cleared, with both coloured edges, said the mother. The image changed to the inside of the pyramid, with the swirling primary colours converging into a brown-haired baby. It was not safe to stay on Gaia, so we sent you. The image showed the baby inside the glass prism and going through the wormhole, then morphing into images of black and white figures standing before the craft. You may now open your eyes. Are you saying Abers are? Koby said aloud. A whitehead? Yes, I am, finished the mother. That's impossible, said Ruby. I don't believe it. The mother turned towards her, a soft smile on her lips. It was what he was, not what he is. His purpose has changed. Ruby nodded. He is order still. Tia is the other. Koby was raised by a blackhead, said Solomon. With a whitehead nearby on my instruction, yes, until you had grown. What is it that I do now? Asked Koby. All in good time. First, help your friends, she said, and waved her hand. Three portals opened, revealing a different scene. The first was Flamber, Rusty, and Julian surrounded by titles. The second, Cybersun on the ground face down and Ekru looking down at her menacingly, a bloody rock in his hand. The final portal to a blue city on fire, with riots and clashes between predators and prey.